Hey, Lenora here. So, I didn't want to leave you hanging about learning how to change the key on your music. So, I'm going to kind of go through the lead sheet. Remember, we were working on Embraceable You, and I'm going to show you the chord changes here of the first two A sections, the first A section. And what we're doing is we're going to look at each chord from here at this point of the sheet music, of the lead sheet, and we're going to move the root first. So I'm going to move this down a major third, right? So if I look at each letter, I'm going to move that letter on the piano down a major third. So I'm going to move the G 6/9 to an E flat. And you keep the chord characteristic. So if it's a 6/9, you keep that as the same chord characteristic, but you move the letter name. So it's E flat 6/9. The next chord will be B flat diminished 7. We're going to move that down a major third. So now that's going to be G flat diminished 7th. We're going to move the next chord. Now we're going to look at just the chord under the parenthetical chords. I'll explain that a little bit later, but first let's just go through and change all of the chord number or the chord letter, and then we'll talk about some of the other theory concepts or what you see when you see chords in the parenthesis and then you see the chords up under them. We're going to play the chords up under them. So we're going to change this A minor 7 to an F minor 7. That's going down a major third from A to F. We're going to take this D7 down a major third. That'll be B flat 7. Then this parenthetical chord here, E7, we're going to move that down a major third so that it's C7, okay? We're going to do that for each of the chords that we have in this A section. And we're going to do the same thing for the next section, the B section, because this is an A-B-A-C form of the tune. Now, I'm moving through terms that you might not know or understand, and I promise you I'll go step by step and explain each of those, but you have to do your part and I'll do my part. So I'm going to change the chords so the letter names are changed. I'm just going to draw a line through each of them, write on the paper, and then I'll come back and show you what you do next. Once we change the chords on the paper, then we can play through it and just give a test and see if we like the way that sounds in our voice. One thing I will say about parenthetical chords, when you find a jazz lead sheet like this, now a lead sheet is music where you just see the melody, the lyrics, and the chords like this, not sheet music where you might get from the publisher that shows the piano voicing in the staff. But this is kind of a shorthand. Lead sheets are something that you learn how to read doing vocal jazz. But the chords in parentheses are optional harmonic chords that you can still play, that still work with the melody. But jazz musicians like to have optional chords just for increased options when they're doing some harmonic improvisation. And as vocalists, we would want to do that too. But first, you get your ear acclimated to the sound that's up under the parenthetical chords. A lot of times on the original recording, meaning the first time it was recorded maybe by a particular jazz musician or that composer, those chord changes in the parenthesis are what they may play on the recording. So we'll talk about that a little later as we go on along. But I just want you to know that. So that's changing the chords. We have to change the melody too. So the melody has to be changed. So each note of the melody would have to also be moved down a major third. So that first melody note of the E natural here would be moved to a C. That next note up is a F sharp. So we would have to move that down a major third to D natural. Then the next note is a G natural. We'd have to move that down a major third to E. So you do the chords and the melody. You change those notes so that you could hear them. Now, at this point, I would actually move to a piece of transcript paper, a blank staff paper, and rewrite it out. But let's not do that until we make sure we like this key change first, okay? That was a lot. You go inch by inch, everything's a cinch. I'll work with you all the way. But this is fun. This is the kind of fun stuff that, well, some people think it's a little geeky, but it puts you in the driver's seat of knowing how to change the key of your songs. I'll see you on the next video.